In today's breaking story, an Epstein accuser has just dropped a brutal bombshell on Donald Trump. That's right, this nightmare is not ending for Donald Trump or his administration. At this point, it's been non-stop coverage of the Epstein issue, and personally, it's hilarious watching Donald Trump literally get consumed by the very conspiracies he himself fueled to get elected. Still, Trump's fans are not happy with how Trump is handling this Epstein issue.
The Wall Street Journal, when I talked to a bunch of influencers after the Wall Street Journal posted their story, they were sort of really excited because this gave them an in to support the president. So they could finally say, oh, that doesn't sound like him. What, is he a thespian now? That we don't buy it. And so that gave them a chance to sort of align themselves again with, their leader. But again, I have a finger on the pulse of what everybody was saying in response to that. And they were really not moved. These people are still on Truth Social, on other far-right MAGA forums, are not buying it at all. And furthermore, they're really still very much smarting from the president's reaction to them, which was, again, to call them losers, to call them weaklings, to say he no longer wanted their support. And there is a feeling of, methinks he doth protest too much. And they're sort of waiting for what's going to come out of this, promised grand jury stuff. They know a lot of these people are conspiracy theorists, but they're not stupid. They do a good job of collecting all the dots. The problem is the way that they connect them isn't always right. There often is wrong. And so they are waiting for more information. As of now, they're angry and they are expecting more.
In fact, it's getting so bad now that even Fox News is calling out guests for trying to distract.
One of the things that I just want to point out here is I think that one of the critical aspects of this that is being exploited currently is that they are combining these two stories in a way that we do not have the justifiable facts and reporting to say is actually the case. And that, to me, is the thing that is irresponsible about the way that this coverage has been related. And I will actually give a rare compliment, I will say, to Joe Scarborough and to some of the other people who've said, we have Democrats coming on. You had Representative Raskin, for instance, on Morning Joe this week, where it's like you're conflating these two things and you aren't actually justifying the connection between them. And that's irresponsible, and it's not something that I think is appropriate.
But Ben, we knew that at one time, before he disowned him, Donald Trump was friendly with Jeffrey Epstein. We've seen the pictures. We knew that Bill Clinton was friendly with him. I think what's driving the coverage, and feel free to disagree with this, is the sense of betrayal, fairly or unfairly, by Trump's own loyalists, by his own MAGA backers.
But now, in a shocking twist, and in today's top story, an Epstein accuser has dropped a brutal bombshell on Donald Trump. Take a look at this. The New York Times has dropped an explosive new report that could have major implications for President Donald Trump. Maria Farmer, one of the earliest accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, has come forward once again, this time revealing that she urged the FBI twice to investigate Trump's ties to Epstein. Once in 1996 and again in 2006, Farmer says she flagged Trump as someone the authorities should look into based on a disturbing personal encounter she says took place in 1995. According to the Times, Farmer told agents that she had gone to Epstein's office late one night wearing running shorts after being unexpectedly summoned. That's when, she says, Donald Trump walked in, dressed in a business suit, and began hovering over her, staring at her legs, and making her feel uneasy. She says the tension was broken only when Epstein entered the room and said, "No, she's not here for you." Farmer claims she then heard Trump comment that he thought she was just 16 years old. This is not the first time Farmer has mentioned the incident publicly, but it is the first time it's been directly linked to warnings she says she gave the FBI about Trump decades ago. Farmer initially reported being assaulted by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell in the mid-1990s, but now she says that wasn't the whole story. In both FBI interviews, 10 years apart, she says she made sure to mention the people in Epstein's inner circle, specifically naming Trump as someone who raised red flags. The White House is flatly denying the claims. Communications Director Stephen Chung told The Times, "The president was never in his office. The fact is that the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep." But according to Times reporters Mike Baker and Michael Schmidt, this story illustrates how the unreleased Epstein case files could include material that is politically damaging to Trump, even if not criminal, and even if never fully investigated. At a time when President Trump is already battling a credibility crisis over the lack of transparency in the Epstein case, this new first-hand account adds even more fuel to the fire and raises serious questions about what the FBI knew, when they knew it, and why they never acted on it. We'll continue following this story closely. At the end of the day, we literally have a president who might be the most creepy human being alive. Conservatives would love for you to believe that Biden was creepy or something. Trump, he is unmatched. He is definitely involved with Epstein, far more than he wants anyone to believe.